4 million people recycling in Latin America. But the industry is not shiny, it's not sexy, it's not recognized.
It's not glamorous.
Exactly, that's the word. It's not glamorous. So we want to add with technology, with communication, with color, with nice look and feel. We want to be talking as a brand. eCoins is a system, it's not a recycling program, it's not a catalog of discount. eCoins is a way of living, it's like a way of thinking.
Hello everyone, welcome to Venture Chats. I'm Carol Chen. In the last episode of Venture Chats, I spoke with Carla Chavez, who founded eCoins, a virtual currency to reward recycling and sustainable behavior in Costa Rica. We talked about how the idea of eCoins was born, why it is a big deal in recycling industry in Latin America, and the challenges she faced at the beginning of this journey. Today, we are going to continue our conversation with Carla and find out how she and her team designed a social business model that positions every participant as winning, that is not for profit, but sustainable.
We have discovered that one of the biggest weakness of the system is the lack of data, is the lack of traceability. We have created a system that will allow you to report the kind of materials you are given to the recycling center with blockchain system, which give us traceability, trust, and data.
So you are using blockchain technology to report the data that you connected?
Yes, we are very close to introduce or to launch this new version of the app. We are creating data, we are creating information for our governments, for the companies to make better decisions, to have more knowledge about the consumer behavior and how to increase the trust and how to increase the good behaviors at home.
Is eCoin like a non-for-profit project?
It's a social company. It's not a company looking for profit, but we need to have the sustainability to pay the system, to improve technology, and to have the best talent with us.
So where does the funding come from? From the very beginning, and sustainably, what's your plan to where do you get your funding from?
We decided to split all the costs of eCoins between all the companies that need to work in extend responsibility of the producer. So we have companies from the industry, from the food and beverage industry, from the electronical industry, from the pharmaceutical industry, from the education. So we have companies from all the industries, and all of them pay like a membership. This is like a great club. You pay your membership, you receive a lot of services, communication, strategic, connection, B2B, networking, and you pay like a fee, like a membership.
You also have this business eCoins program, so how does that work?
eCoins Empresarial or eCoins Company, it's a service that the company receives, and it creates a space for your co-workers or your people, and we help them how to understand the clean dry separate at home and where is the closest center for recycling, and they win eCoins to be part of it. It's like an e-learning, and you give them eCoins as the incentive, as a prize, as a reward for being part of the company's eCoins Empresarial, which means that you are helping the environment in general, but you are helping the community you are living, and you keep the company with good goals in numbers. For example, company need to demonstrate to the carbon neutral program in Costa Rica that you are reducing your impact, and you have all your company working with eCoins, So you know you have 100 people reducing their waste and blah, 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 and participating in the meetings, and you have the pictures of the Zoom or the webinar and people participating. So this is a service we give to the companies to keep people involved with sustainability. You mentioned before that it's weird that people from communication get involved so deep in a project like this, and many of the people around, they are engineers, or they are people from logistics, or they are from managing, and at the beginning it's sometimes tough to understand the culture and the vocabulary and all this professional thing in the industry, because we are from the communication background and we try to always create value. And one of our characteristics is that we do not allow competitors in our competition. It's collaboration, it's cooperation. So if you are Pepsi and Coke, you can work together in eCoins, and they are already, both of them work with us. And it doesn't matter who is your competitor outside in the supermarket. At eCoins, a bottle is a bottle. A PET bottle is a PET plastic bottle, and we need to save it, not going to the river, not going to the ocean. We need that bottle in the industry again, as soon as possible, as soon as we can. We need that bottle clean, dry, and separate, and create more jobs, and create more value, and reduce the amount of the payment in the landfill.
Do the members contribute to this program equally, financially speaking? Do they contribute with the same type of amount, or is a bigger company, they do more if they can, it's at their will?
No, we create some, let's say, options, package. Okay, if you want to be a member and you want to receive 2 or 3 different activities every year, and you want to be in social media, and you want a PR activity, so there's layers, yes. If you have maybe less budget but you want to be part of it, you can have this and this and this, and maybe less dedication to some brands, or maybe they don't need a big and they don't want to participate as a big partner or a big player in the eCoins, and they keep in the second layer. So it depends, and always there's people that said, okay, maybe I don't have the money, but I have this and this and this and these resources that maybe can help you. Okay, so we can talk and we can work and try to find out how to collaborate with the resources that already exist. But this is another of our big visions, is to be very frugal. It's frugal innovation.
Like a startup, right? You try to make the best out of the resources that you have.
Yes, exactly. Frugal innovation is that way of thinking that you do not need to invent a new app every day. If there's a good app and you can improve it and participate and add some value, let's use the one that is already existing and let's collaborate. That's eCoins' perspective. Is in Latin America we have a lot of innovation, creativity, a lot of talent, but sometimes we are very selfish, or we do not trust in each other, and we try to really believe in people, believe in good intentions, and invite everybody to be part of this.
In the media coverage, I noticed Pepsi got lots of spotlights. So would you mind sharing the story of how did you get Pepsi on board? Was it hard to persuade them to participate at the first place?
Well, it was not hard at the beginning. We had the good luck to meet very good people from the industry and from PepsiCo. The story was that we launched it in Costa Rica and we launched it in Panama, our first steps. And someone in Panama put us in touch with someone in Peru. And that Peruvian girl was from PepsiCo. She knew about us and she said, we are looking for something like your idea. And we want to try to bring you here to Peru. And okay, we back and forward conversations, and we met some more people. And they have in Peru, in Guatemala, and in Colombia, I think more countries, a program named Recycling with Purpose, which include local recyclers, the government, PepsiCo, and other stakeholders, and they need something like eCoins, like with technological perspective and the consumer connection perspective. So they invite us to be part of Reciclaje con Propósito, Recycling with Purpose. So we say yes, and we sign a contract for a couple of years, trying to take the eCoin system to Peru and to Guatemala. And that's one of the reasons we still there, because we create the basis of eCoins Peru and eCoins Guatemala. And then the contract finished, and we were in the middle of the pandemic time. So they say, okay, let's wait and let's see in the future what's happened. But we have great relation with them. We are, I think, more than partners and friends now. They knew our struggling process at the beginning, and they help a lot. And it was a great lesson to learn in terms of going to a very different country. Costa Rica and Peru and Guatemala, very, very different. Here in Costa Rica, we have this like chip in our brain about nature and conservation and environmental approach. In Peru and Guatemala, for example, they don't have the same chip as strong as we have here in Costa Rica. So for us, it was like face the reality in a different country, and we learn a lot. They prepare us. Maybe in that moment was hard to try to fit our program with different reality, but it really helped us to be stronger. And now we are prepared to say, yeah, I know the reality of the Peruvian people, and I know the reality from Guatemala, El Salvador, Honduras, Nicaragua, Colombia.
eCoins is not a for-profit organization, but in order to make it sustainable, you still have to sort of work out a business model to make the cash flow keep coming and pay attention to where you spend your cash and resources. So how does that work? Where do you spend the most? Which area you focus the most?
Well, in people, in our team, because this is about relations. We need Valentina, who is our engineer, giving the education to the companies, talking with the people at the municipalities, trying to understand realities, and from the engineer perspective to bring all this technical thing to the program. And we have Gustavo, he is the coordination of operations in the region. He needs to create this like confident and the meetings with people and listen to them and understand how we can create value for them. So we have a team about 10 people related with eCoins almost every day, and help the people in the other countries to implement eCoins, because we create this model named expansion unit. During pandemic, we faced the challenge of not traveling. You can go out of home. How can you take the materials to the center? So one of these challenges was to create a system to use the franchise system, the franchise lessons, but with triple bottom line perspective. It's not a franchise that want to sell sandwiches. It's a franchise that want to create value and to impact in the social, economical, and environmental area. So we create with an expert in franchises. We talked with him and said, okay, we need to create something new, because it's the franchise discipline, but with the impact perspective. And we created during 2020 expansion unit model. So if you are in China, you want the eCoins in China, you can buy the rights, like the brand, and you can develop eCoins in Shanghai. I join you to explore your market and let you know my perspective from the experience and help you to implement eCoins at your market. And the second line in our investment is technology. We need to be very, very updated, and now our app is not in the point we want to, but we are working on it, and very soon we will have like the nicest version, including the blockchain tool for the data creation we want to start working.
When people collect their eCoins, they can go to your website and choose to purchase with some discounted purchase with a merchants network. Are those merchants also part of this business eCoins, or are they separate?
Yeah, this is one of our learnings in this journey, because at the beginning we knew that we have these, like, let's say clients, let's say beverage or food and beverage companies or electronics, that they have to be part of the external responsibility of the product by the producer. But then we have a bunch of entrepreneurs, people that is or trying to use materials like in a circular economy process. Maybe I have the organic programs, I have composting machines, I have purses or and clothes made from other material. Yes, and I'm using materials for new processes and creating more value. So we start like getting a lot of entrepreneurs around, and our catalog is like a different the companies in our catalog are different from the companies that support the program with membership and affiliations. Okay. Because we have a cinema, we have this entrepreneur that make earrings with this. Yes, exactly. So we have the big companies or the medium companies at the beginning of this, let's say, input. The creation of the eCoins are in between, with consumers that giving the materials clean, dry, and separate to the collector centers or the municipalities, and then you have your eCoins, your points. What are you going to do with your eCoins? And there we have two different archetypes. We have one archetype that loves to win eCoins and keep them and collect them. And I have 1 million, I have 2 million. And maybe they don't need to redeem them, to exchange in for anything, because they already feel great about what they do with the recycling and they know they are doing the right thing. And the other archetype is the one that want to change, that want the discount, that want to use the eCoins for going to the cinema with 50% discount, or they want to participate in a raffle, in a lottery we create every month. So there's people that wants to use the gamification part of our program, and it's both of them are great. Both archetypes are right, and sometimes this archetype number one that has million eCoins, sometimes they can see, hey, I like this promotion, I like this content, I have 1 million, I will invest all my eCoins trying to get this prize, and it's cool. And the other is like trying to use it more regularly, using the small discount and maybe buy some gift for Christmas, or I don't know, let's go to the movie and I have to pay less for going to the movie with my families, or to support this local industry, this local commerce, these entrepreneurs. The local economies has been supported with the redemption of the eCoins. So now you can see, Carol, that this is a very long trip of people involved. From the beginning, let's say PepsiCo at the very beginning, and at the end, the cinema. But in some points, they touch again. Maybe in the cinema, you can buy again the PepsiCo, and you will connect the dots and say, oh, this is a can that I can, or a bottle that I need to put in the right place because I'm here because of eCoins, showing, enjoying this movie, and now that I have this material, I take or I make better decisions.
How do you incentivize those small merchants? Because when they give such 30%, 40% discounts, they're going to be an impact on their profitability. So how do you kind of incentivize them to say there's still win for you to join our program?
All the companies or the entrepreneurs that are in our catalog, they are not losing anything. They are winning a lot. They have a visibility, like there's a new place to sell. It's like a window to show what I'm doing with sustainability. There's a new way to sell. And I want to be selling to the people that recognize the work I'm doing. Let's say I do these earrings and I want to sell my earrings to the people that can appreciate that I'm saving, I don't know, materials from the garbage, and I'm trying to do something better and valuable.
Recycling is part of the story. We know that because that's going to happen after the trash already been generated. But there's also other part of the story which is before the trash is being generated. What we call you have to reduce using material and reuse it whenever possible. So this comes to a quite famous word that you mention a lot in public called circular economy. Would you be able to describe what does it mean by the word circular economy, and how is it different from our traditional way of doing economy?
Circular economy principle is that you need to keep the materials as long as you can at the maximum value you can with you. I can keep my glasses as much as I can the same. Sometimes it's a little accident or broken, but it doesn't matter because it's not necessary this brand for using the glasses. I can use my glasses as much as I can in their maximum value with me. This is circular economy principle. It means that I need to take care of it, and I need to buy something that is good quality, and I want to buy something that goes good with me, with my age and my style, because I want them that last forever. And I need to maintain the things. I need to properly clean it, and if it's something like broken, I try to fix it. It's not that at the first day I see something new, or I say, there's something here missing and I don't want them anymore. No, I need to keep them with me as much as I can in the highest value possible. This is circular economy, and it started from the very beginning in the designing. I need someone to design glasses with quality, versatile, and that can hold some impacts. Exactly. And the materials, is there a way to reduce the materials, or to use the materials that can be recycled at the end of the cycle of this usage? For example, if one day, I need new ones, or it's broken, what happened with the plastic? Did the producer of the glasses thought about the plastic they are putting in the market, or just they want to sell a glass and that's it? So there's a lot of consideration when you're talking about redesigning. And if you cannot redesign things because there are some obstacles, you have to create the value of the reverse logistic. You need to know where are going to end your materials, and you have to create the conditions to get them back to your facility, or to find out who is going to use it after that, and what's the next step for the things that I'm producing. This is all about circular economy. This perspective of using the same materials many times at their highest value. And it started with the producers, but then goes to consumers. Reduce, reject some materials that I don't need, reuse the ones that I have, and I can maybe found a different use for the can. I can use it for pencils, or for a plant, the yogurt container, I can use it for the plants. I don't know, it's like reducing and find new ways to use the materials. And then I have to repair things that I can, and at the end, where can I recycle this material? Where is the collecting center? Where is the municipality that is going to be in charge of the recycling process of the material? We have no time, Carol. We are running out of time. And as Helen MacArthur said, from Helen MacArthur Foundation, they work on circular economy. And she always says that if we do not fix the economy, we are not going to fix the climate, because it's half of the problem. The production and the consumption and the discharge of materials is half of the problem with climate.
What are the other things that you recommend us as ordinary individual could do besides recycling to contribute in this sustainable economy? Go
to the supermarket and check. And is this material is coming from a company that knows about circular economy, about redesigning, about recycling? Is that bottle with a lot of like inks in the label, or it's simple and can be recycled very easy? Everything starts in the purchase moment, when you decide what do you consume. But for example, with the fashion industry, there's a lot of things to do. In your closet, you have like hundreds of things that you don't use. And more with pandemia, you always use the same thing because you are at home working with the screen and the computer, and you are not using your shoes or your skirts. So in the fashion industry, you can save a lot. Everything you don't use anymore, you can donate it. Don't take it away or don't let it like go. You can donate it to someone else. And you have to find in your city what's happening in terms of entrepreneurs, in social responsibility, in circular economy. What's going on in your market? Choose local every time you can, because you reduce the carbon print, the footprint of this material. You reduce transportation and a lot of contamination add to this product, and try to eat local too. So every time you buy something, you have the opportunity to choose better.
I didn't realize as a consumer I have so much power in my hands before, but I guess what I have been doing was right, because I have been using my pair of glasses for 10 years and I have been always following this principle of eating locally. I love the banana and the pineapple here. I love Costa Rica coffee here. I enjoyed a lot the local fruits here. Thank you so much, Carla, today for being my guest at Venture Chats. I wish you the very best of the future journey of eCoins.
Thank you
so much.
Thank you, Carla.